and after this are not able to do anything more. You see, if we can instill those kinds of principles in the hearts and minds of our young ones from a very early age, then as they face trials, and they will be prepared to successfully meet those trials. We need to teach our children not only what Christ's commands are, but what it means in practical ways to observe all the things that Jesus Christ commanded. And there is evidence, even today, that starting at an early age will help us to be successful. For example, let's talk to Brother Gregoriadis and his young son Cameron from the Hidden Valley congregation. Cameron, could you tell everyone how old you are, please?
8 years old.
8 years old. And what grade are you in?
Second grade.
Second grade. Now, Brother Gregoriadis, how old was Cameron when you began to study with him?
Cameron was about 2 years old when we started studying with him.
Yeah. Now, you must have used the drill sergeant method, right? You forced him to sit down, you read the paragraphs to him, you asked the questions, you made him answer, and then you moved on.
Well, when he was very young, we didn't have to do that. But as most people know, when you have a child, they get independent. There are times when I do have to use the drill sergeant method. Not very often, but it's only because we want to show him that it's serious, that it's important for him to know that we're studying about Jehovah and that it really means his eternal future, but not all the time.
All right, I understand. Now, did Cameron have any favorite books that he liked to study?
Yes, there were a few. When he was very young, I taught him how to read using the Bible Stories book, and he learned from the Great Teacher book, and also, most recently, the Bible Teach book. And he really enjoyed those. It became his favorite books. And he prepares for the book study, and he always tries to prepare a comment because it's very simple for him to understand. So he loves those books.
Now, did it really benefit Cameron for you to start studying with him at such an early age?
I believe it did, and a good example of that, Brother Roberts, is I remember when he was very young that whenever he'd be watching something like a cartoon on TV that was his favorite, or maybe some other television program, I noticed that the television would either be switched to another station if something came on that was about holidays or birthdays or some kind of celebration, or he would just turn it off and go do something else. And so he knew from a very early age from our study what the right thing to do was.
So you obviously reached his heart. Now, I know for little guys like this, you mentioned birthdays when they're in school, that really can be a fiery test for someone that's so young. Could you demonstrate for us how you helped Cameron cope with a situation like that?
Sure. So how was school today, son?
Good.
Good. You don't sound very excited.
They had another birthday today.
Another birthday? Oh, so what did you do?
I asked my teacher if I could do something else, and she sent me to the library.
She did? So how did you feel about that? What'd you do?
Good. I know it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I guess it was, you know. Remember when we studied about birthdays and celebrations? What happened in the Bible?
That there are certain birthdays where people got killed at?
Yes. And do you remember what the early Christians did? Did they celebrate birthdays?
No.
They didn't, did they? And how does Jehovah God feel about celebrations?
He doesn't feel good.
He doesn't at all. So you know what? That reminds me of something that we studied recently. It was in Proverbs chapter 12, verse 2. And it said that when somebody does something good, Jehovah approves of it. So Jehovah approved of what you did today, son. And you know what? Your mom and I are very proud of you, too.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
We're proud of you as well. Thank you for that. Cameron mentioned that the Bible Teach book was one of his favorite books, and that book is designed to help us build fire-resisting qualities in our children